Hello, you guys. How are you all? Hey, On the Case with Jeannie. Hey, Preschool Granny, Eddie, Nadie, Punksy. Hey, Amberlou, Missy's Angels. I'm glad you're here. Hey, BG. Hey, Dee. Let's see. Amy in Boston. Combat Vet Price. Yes, drive safe, Combat Vet. Kate, I love that. Thank you. And I love you being here. Hey, Lexi, Texie, Sherry Hill. Hey, Maria, Sneaky Listener Network. Hey, Angela. Hey, Stephanie. Yes, Kate. I cover true crime. Well, I have a second channel where I talk about like all kinds of stuff, celebrity stuff, conspiracies, ghosts, aliens, all the things, even, political stuff. But over here, just true crime. Murder in Australia is police killing a 95-year-old using a walking frame. Yeah, you got some crazies over there. Hey, Lynn. Hey, Keyboard. Hey, Truth Seeker. Thank you guys for being here. Hey, Larry. Jan. Cupcake. Ooh, cute name. Hey, Country Bumpkins. I'm a little country bumpkin myself. So I've gathered all kinds of stuff for us to talk about. Hey, Carla. I love them too. I love the daytime lives too. It gets, it's tomorrow. I have to take Bentley like an hour away for an appointment. So I've got to get to bed early tonight. But I found so many things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So yeah, let me go ahead and see what we've got here. I think we're going to start with, I was also looking at, some body language, we're going to watch some body language stuff, but that's not even what I was going to say. I was, looking Keegan Kline. He's done a new interview and stuff, and maybe we'll get into some Delphi stuff on here soon. So first, let me see what this little Twitter post is. We're going to watch Dr. G break down his body language during the arraignment. We're going to talk about all the money that the city of Moscow has spent so far. We're going to talk about the family speaking out after the arraignment and what they think about it. We've got a lot to go through. So let me go ahead and just pull this up and we'll get started with this since the others are kind of videos. Bryan Enton. Oh, shoot. This is a different thing. Hold on. This is about Jesse McFadden. Oh, what was I doing here? Okay. We'll start with this then. I don't know what I was doing. I save little things all day long that I'll want to talk to you guys about. So that
are there times when you would
Jesse McFadden stuff? Oh yeah, they're having the court right now for the Gabby Petito stuff. I'm going to have to catch up with that after. I was trying to watch some of it before we came live. Okay, so this is Dr. G, and we watched him talk about Letitia Stalk. I'm so happy to have found his channel because I find this stuff really interesting. So let me drop the link in the chat. We'd love to hear you cover Delphi. Oh, awesome, Sherry. Then maybe we should do it. There's, it's quite interesting, and there's some stuff happening right now. Oh, were you, Jesse? Hey, Riddler. Hey, Eddie. Let's see if I missed anybody. Hey, Jesse. Slink. Bring on the paranormal. I know. I need to. Now that trial's over, I'll have some more time for that. Hey, Deb and PA. Okay, all you guys sneaking and listening at work. I love you guys. Okay, let's get started.
Hey, everybody. Dr. G here.
I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and body language expert, and today we're going to be analyzing more of Bryan Kohberger. We're going to be looking at his arraignment from May 22nd. We're going to see what his body language tells us when the judge is talking to him. And for people that aren't familiar with this case already, he's being charged with the murder of 4 college students. Before we get started, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right.
Okay, so here we go.
Let's go. One thing I'm curious about is if this smile is done out of politeness for his attorney or if it's done knowing that it's going to be used in the media. I really don't know how much access he has to things like the internet, magazines, all of that stuff. But that same smile last time during the last video got a lot of mileage. I've seen a lot of people use that exact picture on lots and lots of video covers. Let's go back and look at it again. It's actually a very good fake smile because you can see he's squinting his eyes on the side. And that's what we do when we actually feel happiness.
I noticed this smile too. I think it's funny that he points out it's possibly for the media because you guys, Bryan Kohberger apparently, according to, hey, Spicy Sugar, is Woofy in here? Hey, Woofy. Hey, Carol. Apparently, you know, Bryan Kohberger, according to other inmates in the jail with him, is very interested in the coverage of his case, you know, and he knows that he is all over the media everywhere. Hey, Mama Bear. Good to see you, beautiful. Okay, let's keep listening because this is so fascinating to me. And I'm going to drop his link again. If you guys aren't subscribed, definitely go subscribe.
There's no question he's not feeling happy right now, and it leaves his face faster than it entered it. But it doesn't change the fact that he is good at faking a smile. Maybe that's something he's practiced.
Is against you, and the maximum penalties if you are found guilty or if you plead guilty. So I'm going to start with.
So what we're doing now is we're getting a baseline of his behaviors. He nods his head in recognition of what the judge is saying. Occasionally you see a jaw clench. Let's go back and look at that again.
The right. If you're right, the charges against you, and the maximum penalties if you are found.
And there was the jaw clench when he said the maximum penalties, because I think that's going to be a real point of, well, obviously it's a real point of stress. It would be for anybody with this. But whether or not the death penalty is going to be on the table, I am pretty sure is on his mind right now.
Oh, okay. So that's very interesting. A lot of people have talked about his jaw clenching. You know, I'll have to have you in my ear. Okay, well, I'm in a lot of your guys' ear at work, apparently, so I'm all right with that. Hey, CJ. Hey, Uncle Benny. Man, you're relentless. What do you mean, Uncle Benny? Okay. Yeah, he is just on. He's very great at explaining this stuff. And, you know, it's just like behavioral panel. They have, you know, they're professionals. They interrogate people for a living and have at times, well, he's a psychologist. Dr. G is a psychologist. So very interesting. Okay.
Guilty or if you plead guilty.
Oh, you're getting the death penalty, buddy.
You have a constitutional right. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
Any questions about the rights?
No.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kohberger.
One thing to keep in mind, and the other video people have said in the comments, well, what if he's medicated? He seems sluggish and all of this stuff. There's nothing about the way that he's reacting right now that makes me think that he's heavily medicated on anything. He's responding quickly. When they asked him to stand up, he stood up quickly, he sat down quickly. His reactions seem like they're at a normal rhythm. So there's nothing right now that would indicate that he's on a bunch of heavy medication.
So let's go to the indictment. Do you have a copy of the indictment in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And you see in the heading your name there. Is that your correctly spelled complete name?
Yes, it is.
Is that the correct birth date underneath your name?
Yes.
Are those the correct last 4 digits of your social security number?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Very direct.
Something we're also seeing is that he nods when he agrees with something. Important to note now, because if he ever takes the stand later, that can become significant.
All right, I'm going to read you
Jesse,
the
that's
charges.
cool. What
on the
channel?
indictment, starting with count 1.
So what we're going to be looking at now is him being read the charges. Now,
Now, this is the part I really am interested in his opinion on, because, well, Uncle Benny's right. We're all body language experts. Everybody, is talking about how he acted when particular victims' names were said. Also, I want to point out, the judge calls Kayla Gonsalves. The names and Xana's name. Oh my God. I wish the judge could have just known their names properly. I know it's not a big deal, and I know that it's kind of petty, but then again, also it's not. I mean, these are people who lost their lives at the hands of this freaking monster, and the least they deserve, just listen. You guys will hear what I'm talking about. When I was re-listening to this, it really bothered me. I think the first time I barely picked up on it because I was watching everything else, but
want to watch the jaw, because what we see, one of his tells in terms of that he's feeling something, is that he clenches his jaw.
Hey, Aussie Gardner.
Associated with stress and also be associated with anger.
Really,
can't say which one he's feeling, but he's feeling something. Let's see if there's a pattern to when that happens.
Did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder.
As you can see right now, he's pretty composed. We're not seeing a whole lot of body language about this so far, but let's keep watching. Let's briefly watch the intensity of his reactions when you go through each person. I'm just going to show a little clip, but I'm going to show a little clip of each one. Watch this.
Kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogan, from which she died.
Very little reaction, looking down for the most part.
Kill and murder Kayla Gonsalves.
Kayla Gonsalves. Jesus. What is the neighbor doing over there? I'm sorry, you guys. My God.
A human being by stabbing Kayla Gonsalves, from which she died. Count 4.
All right, mostly looking down. Didn't seem to be much clenching.
Kill and murder Zana Kernodle. Excuse me. This is hard. I'm sorry.
This is hard. Literally. Oh my God. Nah.
Zana Kernodle, a human being by
Here went the jaw.
Zana Kernodle, from which she died.
You see a lot of jaw clenching and him looking up and down.
Ethan Chapin, a human being by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died.
And he looks more calm during this one than any of the other ones. But there doesn't seem to be that same level of tension.
Signed on May.
Now, does this mean he did it? Not necessarily, but it does mean he was feeling different things when the 4 different names were read. And that's worth paying attention to.
Oh, that is so interesting. So very calm during Ethan. Jaws clenched during Xana. However, that was quite an awkward and difficult moment considering the judge could not get her name correctly and even says, "This is hard." I'm going to rewind that just for a second so we can see Xana again, but let me check your comments. The names are important. Learn how to pronounce their names. It's odd he can't pronounce Kaylee. It's not a difficult name. I can understand Xana. Yeah, I agree, Kathy. And, I even remember when we first started covering the case, like, it takes you a second to get completely familiar. Well, even with Henrietta right now, I mean, you have to get completely familiar with each person. And I don't want to say character because these are real people. This is real life, and it can be a little difficult. But when you're the judge, ooh, Jesse, I would love that. I've thought about it, too, the other day when we were talking about him. I know I had to stop watching during this. Ugh. The mispronounced names may have even made him angry. If he has a true serial killer pattern, he may be angry at the system for not respecting his work. Avo, how interesting is that? When I was a young boy, I noticed on TV and in real life a lot of men jaw clench. I thought it looked cool and tried to copy it for a minute, but it seemed stupid, so I dropped it. Not strong evidence. Interesting. Okay. Has anyone else got a black screen? Club Owana? I hope not. Hey, Amber. Good to see you. It's sad and offensive, yes. Well, the judge should have looked over that and been prepared before he started. This case right here is one of the biggest, most talked about cases for a very long time. It's so, yeah. Okay, we're going to rewind just for a second. We want to catch that Xana Kernodle one more time.
Looking down, didn't seem to be much clenching.
Kill and murder Xana Kernodle. Excuse me. This is hard. I'm sorry. Xana Kernodle, a human being, by stabbing Xana Kernodle, from which she died.
You see a lot of jaw clenching and him looking up and down.
Kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died.
Very interesting, his reaction. We're going to keep watching. I just want to note, Uncle Benny said that he used to do that just because he thought it made men look strong, or, and it's possible that that's what he's doing. To me, there are moments where Bryan looks very nervous. Like, you ever watch like a little kid, like my niece does this a lot. Like, you can tell when people are watching you and when someone's gauging their reaction based on the people around them. And when they're really like self-conscious of that, it's quite obvious. And I think I pick up on a little bit of that from him myself. I mean, I'm no psychologist or body language expert, but just being a regular old country bumpkin, like the name in the chat.
And he looks more calm during this one than any of the other ones. But there doesn't seem to be that same level of tension. Now, does this mean he did it? Not necessarily, but it does mean he was feeling different things when the 4 different names were read. And that's worth paying attention to. Now we're actually going to watch a different video for this part, because in this video, it closes up on his face. And I want you to be able to see the details, because this, I think, is consequential. Let's start watching.
2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Xana Kernodle.
So his jaw starts clenching as soon as Xana's name is brought up.
Excuse me.
Wow. Now, this is really interesting, because Xana is a victim that many people thought was just, not part of the plan, and maybe was just happened to walk in on something or walk out on something or see too much. You know what I mean? Let's see. I do think that BK might have been irritated by the judge mispronouncing the names. I get that. I totally get that as well. I would also posit that jaw clenching in some people is the result of misaligned teeth or jaws. Yeah, that's true, Uncle Benny. I remember. Hey, Johnny, good to see you. I remember the O.J. Simpson case. He did the same thing on camera, jaw clenching. I clenched my jaw in my sleep from nerves. Sometimes I would, oh my God, Carla, that sucks. Well, he has anxiety and he's nervous. Okay, interesting. I think plenty of other people butt clench, but it's not as visible. Benny. Oh, shoot. That was my alarm to go email about the Letitia Stout. I want to get the paperwork. So hopefully I don't forget to do that later. Xana had charisma he could never possess. Oh my God. Xana was so animated, so funny, so silly, so lovable. Xana fought for her life so hard. I feel so bad for her. Well, we did hear that there was quite a fight. So I don't, Benny, no. Does it start before her name is read wrong? I'm going to back it up just for a second, and we'll watch one last time the ending part. I know, Carla. Okay.
But it does mean he was feeling different things when the 4 different names were read. And that's worth paying attention to. Now we're actually going to watch a different video for this part, because in this video, it closes up on his face. And I want you to be able to see the details. I think this is the one you watched, Lynn. This, I think, is consequential. Let's start watching.
2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Xana Kernodle.
So his jaw starts clenching as soon as Xana's name is brought up.
Excuse me. This is hard. I'm sorry. Xana Zaina,
This is hard. I'm sorry. Dude, what a major fail on the judge's part. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm just a normal person at home giving my honest opinion. And I think that was ridiculous. I really do. I think that was absolutely ridiculous.
Kernodle, a human being by stabbing Zaina Kernodle.
He's a lot more, it's funny to say the word animated because I know he's very still. He's looking at the judge more. He's clenching his jaw a lot more. There's definitely a more visceral reaction from him during this than the other ones.
From which she died.
Part of the reason that body language analysis can be helpful is it helps us hone in on what elicits a reaction. Why that's eliciting a reaction, we'd find out with more investigation. But it tells us if we were to really focus on one of the 4 victims, based on this, I would focus on Zaina. Now, I don't know if there's a special connection with her. I don't know why he reacted strongly to her, but that's the one I would focus on and I would press him on if he was providing testimony, for example, and I was a prosecutor. That's one that I would hope.
That is so interesting, isn't it? Because all along we've kind of thought that was just that Zaina and Ethan were like in the wrong place at the wrong time. And maybe he's just aggravated that they can't get the names right. I like Ava's comment about, that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know. It is unprofessional, you guys. Disrespectful. We could all benefit from learning. Hey, Selma, that's actually true. We could all benefit from learning how to react to a knife attack. I still have a hard time seeing how he overpowered 3 women, and obviously after being upstairs, you'd have to be a little tired. Sure, you have adrenaline, but look, guys, I used to like fist fight a lot when I was younger. I don't know why. It was stupid, but also like I liked it. And I'll tell you that like even though you have adrenaline and you can like after like a minute or so, you start to get tired and the swings, the punches they come a lot slower, and you can, if you watch wrestling, you can just start to see when people wear out. So it's hard for me to understand how he overpowered Ethan. I see the movement of his lips as well, kind of this pursing motion, a matter-of-fact type of face I recognize. He's correcting the reader in his head. Agree, Blue Petunias. Secondhand embarrassment. I think I clenched my jaw when he mispronounced her name. Mashing of the teeth. I think when people get mad, they grind their teeth. Mashing of the teeth. I think there's something in the Bible about it. Interesting. I've bounced around on who the target was. Who do you think, Amber? Do you think it could have been Santa and Ethan, possibly? Or, but he went upstairs first, right? And I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Funny, I know a lot of people think one of the other 2 girls was the target or both, but I've always said I had a suspicion it could have been Xana. It was majorly disrespectful to the alleged victims and their families. Even though it was unintentional, it's so basic. I agree. Oh, Woofy, we're all good right now. I wonder if the judge is nervous. Oh, I think so, Carla. I could see that. The whole world is watching. I think Ethan was drunk and half asleep. He had the advantage on him, unfortunately. I believe he's definitely trying to have no reaction. Oh, Carla, I'm telling you, I used to be wild. I would never do that now. I wouldn't want to get in trouble. I just wouldn't want to hurt anybody either. I don't have time for that. But when I was a kid, it's dumb, though. I've always thought Xana is a strong possibility. Wow. Always thought it was Maddie. How does he know whose bedroom is whose? I don't know. No clue who. I've gone to thinking Xana because Kaylee's dad said he didn't need to go upstairs. That's true. He did say that. Oh, fist fight. I get it, Woofy. I'm sorry. Hey, crazy mama. Or so my point is that maybe he went upstairs looking for the correct target. I don't know, you guys. It's interesting. Let's watch the last 30 seconds of this, and then we're going to get into some of the family's reactions and some videos I found.
I would get a stronger reaction out of. So hopefully this video is helping you continue to develop a baseline about his behavior.
Okay, so we're done with that one. Let me drop his link just one more time. If you guys are not subscribed over there, maybe I could email him and ask him to come on. Oh my God, what I would give if I could have him on, and then I could go get my own little clips of Letitia, Lori, Bryan, all these people that we talk about, and then play him for him and get his reaction. Then recently, I think Maddie. It would be so weird if he was at the party Xana and Ethan had been at. I wonder if he's been to the house before, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't. They had parties and stuff there a lot. I wouldn't be surprised. So I have these 2 videos for us to watch from News Nation from last night. They have a security booth at the house now. It's quite sad to see what the house has turned into. But we're going to watch this first. Now, I actually did a Google search the other day when I went on Jen Liu's panel, and I was searching about the money in Moscow, the money that's been spent on the investigation. Let me show you guys. Moscow, Idaho. I know that they've gotten $93,000 from the governor to help pay for the investigation. Let's see. The city's already slim budget is straining under the weight of the investigation's mounting expenses. Even before the killings, the police department alone cost $7.2 million. Moscow officials told ABC several $100,000 more than the $6.9 million in property taxes brought in. The police department is the largest chunk of Moscow's funding for basic government services. It says Moscow is not awash in funding excess. We run a very, very lean budget, and the impact of the investigation has been felt on the budget. Bottom line, officials said the ongoing cost of the killings has burned through cash that could have gone to benefit the community and clean up infrastructure. They also go on to say it really hurt all the towns in the community, or all the towns, all the businesses in the community. You budget for fires, floods, natural disasters. This was not natural. The cost is astronomical. And of course, you can't skimp on keeping people safe. Yet this is just not something you budget for. It's something you'd never dream could happen. Now, even a local business owner likened the effect of the killings to the COVID-19 pandemic's pain. Said owning and running a family business, we've always had our ups and downs. We've gone through 2 recessions, a pandemic, and now this unfortunate loss of life has caused the closest thing to the pandemic in terms of financial loss. It has been horrendous from these murders. So this is the thing, you guys. They're paying for, the whole investigation, not to mention they had to add a ton of extra security and stuff before he was caught. It says less than 3 weeks into the investigation last fall, the city had already incurred more than $70,000 in overtime and other expenses. That 5-digit figure was expected to grow to nearly $200,000 over the coming weeks as we face additional overtime, private security, data storage, and communications assistance. Now, this was back then. Imagine now. And they're going to have to pay Bryan Kohberger's experts. They're going to have to pay, we saw what his attorneys are getting. I mean, they're making much more than they regularly make on this case. That's just the truth. The governor stepped in with a $93,000 reimbursement that will help, but does not cover the full unanticipated impact on the budget. So, I don't know. I thought that was interesting and wanted you guys to know. They, the taxpayers of that town are paying for his, no, I don't hear the doorbell. There's birds chirping. The taxpayers are paying for his defense. The government also said no one ever dreamed there would be an attack on the Twin Towers, yet they ran simulations and had models and everything way before. Things that make you go, Hey, Lori, thank you. I remember everyone freaked out when people started talking about the budget in Hawkins County, but it's a legitimate concern. It definitely is, because you want it done right. You don't want him to be able to say he didn't get a fair trial. I'll pay for the bullets. All right, Spencer. Well, depending on how this shakes out, I have doubts about this case being a fraud top to bottom. So money laundering would be a motivation. Interesting. Oh, I know you do, Uncle Benny. I enjoy your theories. You should come on my second channel one day and we can get into like the conspiracy side of it all. Because I've done a few videos over there similar to that. There used to be a creator. Gosh, what's her name? She did videos about the Watts case being basically like a social experiment or something. It was interesting. Yeah, the birds are busy. Are you hearing my doorbell? I wonder what that is. Crime Curious. How are you, beautiful? Good to see you. Okay. Now let's get into our next video. Miley, are you here? Who's Miley? I'm listening, just not chatting much. Okay, crazy mama. You know what? Hold on. I looked on my second channel at my wrenches the other day, and you were not wrenched over there. I was going to keep you over there because Nate, but I think I'm going to be changing it up over there anyway. So I'm going to give it back here for now until we figure out what we're doing. Oh, let me just I'm sorry, you guys. Let me pull up our next video while I do this. Families of Idaho 4 murder victims speak out, and they reserve the right to sue the city of Moscow. Quite interesting. From Law and Crime, you guys know, I'm sure you guys are all subscribed to Law and Crime.
Actually have a plea from accused Idaho College student killer Bryan Kohberger. Today, we're updating you on what's happened since Monday's arraignment when the judge laid out the charges for the defendant, the court, and everyone watching at home.
Mr. Kohberger, do you understand the charge in count one?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count two, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count three, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count four, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count five, murder in the
Yes.
first degree? Do you understand the
Okay.
maximum penalty?
We've
Yes.
already watched that 50 times.
Counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
All right, so let's dive into some updates and what we've learned since that.
I love
hearing.
you
First up,
back,
Ann
Amber.
Taylor, Kohberger's public defender, filed a motion to get a copy of all the information presented to the grand jury. The grand jury met in secret and determined the charges for Kohberger's indictment. That meant that the defendant would not need to have a preliminary hearing in June and could enter a plea. Taylor's looking for things like a transcript of any evidence presented as well as testimony. The motion also asked that any costs associated with compiling the information paid by the county, since Kohberger was found to be indigent. A second update, family members of one of Kohberger's victims released a statement after the arraignment. University of Idaho students Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogan, Zana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were killed in November inside an off-campus home. Kaylee's family has been the most vocal about the investigation and the prosecution of the case. In a statement, they said, quote, "The family would like to thank everyone for continuing to follow this case and keep the memories of Kaylee, Maddie, Zana, and Ethan alive. They are what is important, not the defendant. We're thankful that the Latah County District Attorney's Office finally took the case to a grand jury and came back with an indictment." And finally, we've now learned that at least 2 families have filed notice reserving their right to sue the city of Moscow. Kaylee and Maddie's families may seek damages against the city after their daughters were murdered. No lawsuit has been filed as of yet, but family attorneys say that this protects the family's rights. Let's break it down. Families may seek indictment. And finally, we've now learned that at least 2 families have filed notice reserving their right to sue the city of Moscow.
I was muted. I'm sorry. Hey, Lolo. 2 families have filed notice to reserve their right to sue the city of Moscow. Is that not crazy? I don't know, Smoky Blue Days. I hope they get into that. I think this one just came out. Like, I had things we were going to talk about today with Bryan anyways, and then I just happened to see this recommended, so I was like, oh, we're going to watch this together. So does anyone know if the DNA on the sheath won't be used? So just Samantha, I don't know for sure, but the way that I took all of that was that the familial DNA, the prosecutors have said they don't plan on using that. However, they got his own DNA from him when he was arrested. They got buccal swabs and I don't know if they took blood or anything else, but they definitely did cheek swabs. So I feel, because they didn't say they're throwing that out, I feel, or they're not planning on using that. I think they'll just use direct match with his DNA rather than using the familial DNA that they originally matched to the sheath. And Woofy, will you do me a favor and drop Real Talk with Alex? Somebody asked where the second channel was. I can't find the comment. Where's that? Oh, you did it, Crazy Mama. Never mind. Thank you. There it is, you guys. Erica. Rumors spreading around. I won't leave Southeast Texas until my daughter's headstone is paid in full. I'm so sorry. Rumors spreading around. When the judge asked if he understood charges and maximum penalties, he clenched his jaw every time he was asked if he understood maximum penalty. Well, maybe he's thinking about the death penalty. I mean, I definitely think they're going to go after it. I definitely do. Steve Gonsalves has done a few interviews since then, and he's basically said that, yeah, we're only one family, but we want it. You don't kill our kids. You don't get to do that. You know, and then we have this Dateline thing. You've got the rumors that his sister knew. And you know what? I don't find it hard to believe that the family members started to put it together. Hello. He has a white Elantra. Sure, the year was wrong, barely. But yeah. And it's quite interesting that he was losing his job and stuff anyways. The genetic genealogy is separate, right? Just so much speculation on his jaw, and Taylor could have gave him a mint. That's true, Samantha. Sometimes it is the simple answer. I know they were all university students, but they're also all legal adults living on a private residence. Or while I suppose Ethan was a guest. See, I don't think it's the university they're going to sue. Let's keep watching, but I think they're reserving the right to sue, maybe based on the thank you, Amber. Maybe based on the city's response, the gag order. I don't know. Instead of guessing, let's just listen. But 2 families, if you guys are just coming in, 2 families have reserved their right to sue the city of Moscow.
Kaylee and Maddie's families may seek damages.
Kaylee and Maddie,
after their daughters were murdered. No lawsuit has been filed as of yet, but family attorneys say that this protects the family's rights. Break it down. Joining me right now, my co-host and legal analyst, defense attorney Bryan Buckmeyer, and former trial attorney Terry Austin. Terry, I'll start with you. So the families
really
filed this notice to reserve their right to sue, but what type of lawsuit could they actually bring, and why not just file it now?
Well, I think they're probably waiting to see the outcome of the criminal trial. It'll kind of bolster their case. But the notice they filed is a requirement, and it's like that in most cities. Before you sue a city, you generally have to file a notice that you are going to sue the city. They didn't put any details in this notice of claim, but I'm assuming it's going to be a wrongful death action. And for that, they're claiming that the city was negligent, that they owed a duty, that duty was breached. And I'm trying to imagine what they are going to say that perhaps.
Oh yeah, Smoky Blue Days. I bet you heard this, and it's just so much information. Remember the letter for his termination went public. First, that YouTuber brought it out. Then we saw it on Ashley Banfield, and they talked about him having, issues with other colleagues and stuff like that.
They should have provided security and safety. I think it's going to be a difficult claim. Now, if they prevail, they will get economic damages, so they could get something like lost wages for their family members that passed. And they can also get non-economic damage, which would include loss of consortium or loss of, that support that they would have gotten from their family member.
Okay.
Bryan, the grand jury materials that the defense wants, what are they and why is it so important to them?
Jesse, grand jury materials are any information that was either presented to the grand jury or that was created in front of them.
This is the thing about a grand jury. They're always secret. That's part of it. So like Jen had been saying, calling it a secret grand jury is redundant and makes no sense. But the defense is not there. They don't know anything about anything. It's a completely secret, it's all completely kept secret until now, because the defense is requesting information about this grand jury, and they requested it with a protection order. They will get it. They will get the information from it, and the protection order basically says this won't go anywhere past us.
Could be evidence that was presented,
We will
any
protect
kind
it.
of graphs, videos,
Hey, Margo.
photographs.
Good to see you.
It could also be the transcripts. It's secret, the grand jury process, because the defense doesn't know when it happens, who is testifying, and they can't be present for any of the testimony unless their own client testifies, and they can only be present for their client's testimony. So the grand jury minutes that are being taken down as someone testifies is being recorded, taken down, and that's the most important information at this point, and maybe even during the trial, because you get to know who the witnesses are, what they said, and you can begin your investigation and even maybe impeach those witnesses come the time of trial.
The defense is entitled to all the evidence against him. They have to be able to come up with a defense. But I find it interesting that Ann Taylor requested a date sometime in October. His time limit, like to a speedy trial, would be up in November. I think that she's basically saying, we will be ready, but will you? She wants to push it so that because look, think how long it took them to put together Letitia Stalk's trial and Lori Vallow. Granted, we did have COVID, but still, there's a lot of information. 51 terabytes, is it? And when you put that into Google, that is 10,000 hours. I think it was, oh my gosh, we did the math on Jen's the other night. Is Marcus in here? Because you were doing the math with me in the chat. Anyways, it's way longer than they have until the date to go through all the evidence. Oh, Riddler. Interesting. All right, let's keep listening to this.
And the defense wants to know so that they can prepare a defense for the upcoming trial in the fall. And we're finishing today's show in New Mexico, where the defense attorney for Alexi Trevizo is speaking publicly about a case. Trevizo is the young woman accused of killing her newborn son in January.
Hold on just a second. I haven't heard of that case, actually. Have you guys? Now, let me go to this other link about the security booth. And it's quite interesting too. Thank you guys for being here, by the way.
Listen,
I cannot wait until his trial. I can't believe it's going to be that soon. We're going to be really busy going through all of this. And I'm excited. Okay.
To the right of the address. That little blue shack to the right of the address. It used to be that there was a security guard that used to drive a car and just park there all day and all night. But now it looks a little more permanent. And that makes us wonder if it's because it's possible that house will not be torn down quite so soon. Maybe it will stay up until trial. And right now that date is slated for October 2. Whether it happens on that date or not, anybody's guess. Bryan Enton is standing by live right now outside of 1122 King Road. That was a big surprise. Seeing that guard station, that's all I can guess it is, Bryan, a guard station. What did you find out?
Yeah, it's like a little guard hut, Ashley, and you really said it perfectly. I mean, it's quiet out here. It's very, very sad, as it always is, but it's especially sort of eerie because most of the students have gone home.
Oh my gosh. I wonder what's going to happen with this house demolition. Somebody put RIP Tina Turner.
It's not lit out here anymore, so when it gets dark, it's pretty much totally pitch black. I was out here last night. Take a look, though. You mentioned the difference now. There used to just be the security car. Now this like hut has been erected here on a trailer. The security guard right now is actually inside that hut. That's where they stay all the time.
Yep, Tina Turner passed away today. Oh, that is so sad.
There's a guy who works the overnight shift who I saw last night who comes on a bike and then just stays in the hut all night long. And there's also a porta potty over here if they have to use the restroom. So it does appear that they're sort of coming up with a more permanent solution to keeping an eye on the house, especially now that it doesn't appear they're tearing it down. Remember, at one point they said they were going to do it this semester once the house was handed over to the university. Then the university wanted some input from a judge when there were new questions about whether a jury might want to tour the house when there's eventually a trial. And that's the last we've heard. The university hasn't said anything else. We haven't heard from a judge. So the house still stands here.
I wonder, like, I know that they've taken their stuff out, but have they cleaned it? Like, really cleaned the crime scene up? Or is it still...
Yeah, and the majority of the families have told us that they don't want it to be torn down. They want the opportunity for a jury to go on a jury go-see if they so desire. They've seen it in other cases. They researched other cases, and they discovered that that worked, especially in one of the more recent cases in the South. Okay, so I do want to ask you, just 10 minutes away from where you're standing, Bryan, is where Bryan Kohberger's apartment was located. And I say was in past tense, and I shouldn't say was in past tense, because there doesn't seem to be a lot of turnover there either. You had a chance to go today. What did you discover?
Yeah, I went over there to Washington State and Pullman, just over the border in Washington, just to see what was going on over there. I hadn't been here in a couple of months, to see if someone new had moved into the apartment or if there was any new action from the neighbors. It's still vacant. Take a look at what I found.
Ooh, interesting. I'm glad we get to see.
This is Bryan Kohberger's apartment building.
Oh, and Maria, I did get your email last night. I think I wrote back. I'm going to check that out. I didn't look at it. I was super tired trying to go through some of my emails, but I'm going to check it out today. And thank you so much.
Here in Pullman, Washington, it's pretty quiet right now because school is out for the summer. It's all graduate students who live here. So there's still some people in town, but for the most part, it's quiet. It's apartment 201, right up these stairs. And it's still vacant. There's no furniture inside. The neighbors say that no one has been coming and going. And that's apparent by what's on the door. There's actually a letter on the door that talks about weed spraying and fertilizer, and that's all the way back from April. So the place is just sat empty, according to the neighbors. But I want to show you, you remember in the search warrants that were released, they talked about a side storage unit. It didn't end up being significant because police said they didn't find anything inside, but they said that there was a spot for a padlock. They searched it. I was curious where that was. This appears to be the only storage unit that I could find on the property. So that is likely the storage unit that they searched that had no significance to the case. Also interesting, you'll remember News Nation first reported that an associate of Kohberger actually had a home break-in at her apartment. That apartment is in one of the buildings back this way. She said that Kohberger actually offered to put security cameras in her apartment. Again, right here, an associate of his who lives in the same apartment complex, just in a different building. We know that all of that was later investigated by police. Okay, so also quiet over there near the campus at University of Washington, similar scene where a lot of the students had gone home. Quiet here. I just want to show you real quick, Ashley, there is still this memorial outside the house where the murders happened. A lot of new flowers and cards and stuffed animals were dropped by yesterday, of course, because people came to town for that Bryan Kohberger hearing. Ashley?
You know,
I'm muted. I'm sorry, you guys, but I have to hold on.
Want to know exactly
just
what's in your
sitting here
P.O.
talking
box
along
without
to
calling or
y'all.
getting in the car? Wouldn't it be
Just
great?
sitting here chatting with you guys about, all the things. Sorry about that. Here we go. This
for joining me tonight. I know that this
after
has
the
been
hearing.
just a hell of a day, not just for you, but 25 family members with you. Can you give me your reaction to what you saw transpire just feet away from you in that courtroom today?
It felt good to get some progress. We've been delayed as long as they could possibly delay us. I'm ready. I'm ready for this to go on and lay out the case and let the community see what the evidence is. And then, let the cards fly where they're going to go. There's been a lot of weird processes, things that were done in a way that are there to help everybody and help the witnesses, the surviving witnesses. But I'm just ready for the normal court process and normal justice, and just get back to what we kind of learned in school. And that's what I want to see. I want to see just lay it out, transparency. Everybody gets to see what their evidence is, what our evidence is.
When you see, how we see Kay and Larry, and you can definitely see that this has worn on them. You can see that with him, and that you can just see it based on versus when it first happened. It's really sad, but
And then
sorry
we
about
let
muting
the
you guys.
jury members decide what's going to be real.
Steve, it's been almost 5 months since the defendant walked into that same courtroom, almost looking the same, sat in the same seat beside the same lawyer, and you were there. Did it feel any different? Are things falling into place more differently now as you lay your eyes upon him today, knowing how much more you know now than you knew back then?
Well, I know he wants to be an active participant in the process, so that kind of changes it for me. Before, he was just somebody that was dragged into a court that was probably surprised to be there. Now he's an active participant, and to me, it's I'm a competitive person, so I'm like, all right, it's on. It's us versus them, and we're gonna lay this evidence out, and we're gonna go from there.
My God, you guys.
How was Christy today, and Olivia?
Oh, sorry.
And Olivia brought Kaylee's baby niece with her. How did they do today? How did they get through it?
The girls struggle. The girls have a harder time with it, and it takes weeks for us to just talk it through and maybe watch a couple movies, do a couple different things, like some family gatherings. The girls are very much, I don't let this guy mess with my emotions, but the girls, that's just the way it is, you know, and I don't fight it. I just understand that they have
He seems like just such a good dad, like such a good a girl dad, you know?
a different way of processing pain and this anguish. So then we just work together and support them. And, you know, it's just one day at a time. And some days are tougher than others, right? I mean,
he does remind me of Santana a little bit.
That's just the reality of it.
Makes sense. You know, there are 60 days from now in which the state has to make its intentions known if they're going to seek the death penalty. I know the state hasn't shared a lot with you, and Shannon has been very upfront about the fact this has been very difficult working within this gag order. But have the victims' advocates within the state at least shared with you that this is an intention of theirs to seek the death penalty in this case?
We're working with members of the government in Idaho. We're trying to establish that you just can't hunt our babies. You just can't come to our state and hurt our people. It's unacceptable. We're a small state, but you're going to see how strong we are and how big we are when you mess with us. And we're going to put our foot down, and we're going to show the world, you know what? We hate all the bad things that are happening, but here in Idaho, we can control one thing, and you just can't hunt our babies down. That's just too much. It's just too much. We can't sit here and say, oh, if there's 5 victims or 6 victims or 7 victims, then you go for the death penalty. No, it's been crossed. The line's been crossed, and we're going to go there.
Do you feel the line's been crossed and we're going to go there? And I mean, he has a good point. When do you go for the death penalty? I mean, he killed 4 people, 4 young kids, good kids who are going to college. And I'm sorry, but they were not involved with the cartel and stupid shit like that. These are kids that are in college and about to graduate, you know, and I just, you know, did they maybe smoke some weed or do some Molly occasionally like every other college kid? Probably so. But no, you can go off topic all you want, rumors spreading around. You say whatever you want in this chat.
Feel as though the state has conferred with you appropriately on your wishes for a death penalty? And do you feel like that is a direction they might be going?
I'm just one family, and they've made that very clear. You know, what you want, Steve, is just what you want. I'm trying to organize different families so we have one united voice. But that's not easy. But that's what we're working.
That's kind of interesting, right? He's trying to organize families so we have one united voice. But that's not easy.
And I know there's other families that feel like I do, but we don't want to get too washed up in the revenge factor. We want to remember these girls. We want to remember Ethan, and we want to make sure that when this is all said and done, that's the only people you think of. We want the defendant to just disappear. And all we remember is the beautiful lives that these people had. And then that's the best that we can do. All this media, all the stuff we're doing.
See, it's interesting about this gag order, because if you go back to where we just grabbed that video, and I think I watched it, his attorney does an interview. You know, and I don't know. Let me grab that real fast. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. DNA evidence is surefire against Bryan Kohberger. Will the judge allow cameras for the trial? Oh, I doubt it, but I wish they would. But yeah, so right here, see, Shannon Gray does this interview. This is quite interesting. I think we'll wrap
powerful allergy relief without making them sleepy, so kids can be kids. Live Claritin Clear.
These are those rhombohedron crystals in your pineal gland. When those crystals become electrically activated.
For several months now, we have heard Bryan Kohberger compared to one of the most infamous serial killers, from sharing a degree in criminology to both being 28 years old when they allegedly committed their first murders, both of them quadruple homicides. And now today, another eerie similarity took place in the Latah County Court, making us wonder, is Bryan Kohberger modeling himself after Dennis Rader, who was the BTK killer. I mean, when BTK did his arraignment back in 2005, it was not on camera, but I want to show you the newspaper headlines and how those newspaper headlines were so incredibly similar.
Hold on, we're going to find it.
Judge enters not guilty plea for BTK suspect. And then the headlines already from the Wall Street Journal are looking very similar for covering BK, not BTK, BK. Look how this morphs. Judge enters not guilty pleas for suspect in stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students. I want to bring in Robin Dreek.
I believe that he takes a little bit from each serial killer. We know that, has anyone else been charged when he was arrested? Different things like that. Let me see here. I'm going over to Twitter. I'm trying to look for what Jamie said. Kaylee Gonsalves' father said he is focused on ensuring justice. Just learned from BTK's daughter that her day BTK buried souvenirs of his victims, which were IDs beneath floorboards at her childhood home. Check Bryan's PA home floorboards for treasure trove. He is a copycat. Let's watch this really quick. This is from Sweetie Pie Low, which I love her. She has a great YouTube channel.
And they said that they had found,
you guys haven't subscribed,
souvenirs in 2005. And we knew right away that he was guilty. So we were told that night, the FBI called us back and said, hey, your dad's confessing. And I was like, confessing to what? Because I still didn't think he had done him. And they're like, confessing to the murders. And then they said they found stuff in our floorboards. And I'm like, what did you find and where? And they said that they had found souvenirs from my father. So they found driver's license of the victims, jewelry, basically my dad's prized possessions. And he had put them under the floorboards in our hallway underneath a cabinet. So we had like a lot, 3-bedroom ranch, one bathroom house. Can you imagine living in like a 900 square foot house with my father for 20-some years?
Someone said this the other day. They said, I wonder if Bryan knows that BTK's daughter has been, following and reporting or commentating on the case. And I know he knows because he's watching the coverage of himself, so.
You got like drawers, and there was at the bottom of like this junk drawer that was really heavy, and it wasn't something you would pull all the way out. And under there, he had made a false bottom. He had cut into the wood, and that was where he stored his special stash.
Yes,
he did this
Chris.
after sometime in like the early 70s. After some of his murders, he had done this. He was really like handy carpentry. So that's the hallway we wrote out tornadoes, and that's where that stuff was. So the FBI pushed. Well, the investigators pushed him that first day.
Okay, we're not going to watch any more from that, but let's see. Court minutes from Bryan's arraignment hearing. What is this? Oh, okay. Hearing time started at 9:09. Just giving out each minute of what happened. New hearing notices for Bryan Kohberger. Gonsalves, this just came out today. So the Gonsalves family attorney gag order is going to be June 9th at 10:30 in the morning. Associated Press gag order hearing will be at 1:30 in the afternoon. Then we have motion to compel discovery, June 27th at 1:30, and then a jury trial is set for the dates between October 2nd and November 12th. So it's set to end the day before all of this happened. Wow. Hey, Spaghetti. Oh, I bet so too, Spencer. Yes, Lynn. Yeah, I would love that. Please drop Sweetie Pie Low. Thank you. I don't I've changed my mind on how I'm going to drop channels, and usually I just don't really, the only time that I need the mods to do it is like an instance like this. Otherwise, I just use the Nightbot. I've just been used a lot on here, and it's just the truth about it. And I've promoted a lot of people that I've looked back and regretted because, of their motives don't seem to be so good and different things like that. So I've changed my mind how I'm doing things. The reason I quit dropping links, though, I had someone emailed me the other day, has absolutely nothing to do with someone coming in my chat and dropping a link, which you can't drop links in people's chats unless you're a mod. That makes no sense. But yeah. Okay. Court minutes the scheduling conference. New interview with Steve Gonsalves. During the arraignment of Bryan Kohberger, there was a blurb on the side screen on Court TV that said he followed female victims on Instagram. Does anyone know that to be true? At the time of his arrest, there were no accounts. Look here, this is frustrating because the very day he was arrested, you guys can go back to a live stream I did that day. I know, Amber, and I appreciate that when you do. Yeah, I've never seen you drop one I don't want, and I always appreciate that. And yet I really appreciate you dropping my second channel because I don't have that in my Nightbot, and the panel guest as well. So thank you. But yeah, okay, so this is the thing. Apparently, he followed some of the victims on Instagram. The day he was arrested, we did an Instagram search, and there were no accounts with his name, Bryan Kohberger, following the girls. Now, there were a few Bryan Kohberger accounts that had just been started that weren't following anyone. But then we hear that he had an account called crim.kohberger. That account is now gone. If that was true, hopefully we'll hear about it in trial, because this is one of the rumors that you can't get, like, we don't know for sure, and it's frustrating. Oh, he does, Ashley. I know he's in county jail, but they have come out and said he has a TV in his room. He's by himself, and he has the ability to buy old movies somehow. Oh, thank you, Lynn. Serafina is real. Yeah, she's done some interesting stuff. I know, Sweetie Pie Low hasn't been streaming much lately. Hey, Nora. Nora's grandma. And I always share my friends' links. Like Amber has an awesome channel. She covers this case. She covers Lori Vallow. She's covered Watts. She does incredible documentaries. The last time I looked at your documentary playlist, you had 500,000 views on the Chris Watts one. I mean, I'm so proud of you. Absolutely incredible work. Hey, Tiff. I still need to fix Punksy's freaking link in my bot. Somebody try this and see what it does. Okay. Punksy has an awesome channel where she does paranormal stuff. Okay. Thank you, Jamie. Let me go grab it. Wait, where the heck did it go? Oh, okay. Parents of murder suspect have been subpoenaed to testify. Hold on. Let's grab this really quick. And I'll go back and look at Twitter in a second before I let you guys go, because I don't want to miss anything. It seems like there's a lot coming out on the case constantly. Okay. First on CNN. Parents of Idaho student murder suspect have been subpoenaed to testify before Pennsylvania grand jury. Look at him. He just looks scary to me. And someone asked, do his eyes look dilated? Look, I know it's much harder. Thank you, Lynn. I know it's much harder to get drugs in jail, but it is possible. We know he has a history of drug use, but let me tell you, the jail he's in is exceptionally small. And I'm actually going to pull up about where he's at before we leave, so we know for sure his access to media and stuff like that. Ganja Mama. Ooh, I like your name. I just want to say I love your channel. I always listen while I work, even though I'm not in chat. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ooh, you're pretty. And sound like my kind of girl, Ganja Mama. Thank you. Yeah, it is insane. She's doing awesome. She has a new documentary coming out too on Sunday. He definitely has those dead eyes. Yeah. Okay, you guys, one sec. Let me grab this. The parents of Bryan Kohberger have been subpoenaed to testify before a Monroe County, Pennsylvania investigative grand jury, according to a source familiar with the situation. Kohberger's father is expected to testify before the impaneled grand jury in a sealed proceeding in Pennsylvania on Thursday. According to the source. His mother has already testified before the secretive panel, the source says, whoever the source is. The parents of the man indicted for the killings of the 4 U of I students were subpoenaed in the Pennsylvania jurisdiction where they live and where Bryan was arrested last December. Their compelled testimony under oath may be shared with prosecutors in Idaho, according to the source. Pennsylvania law allows judges to release transcripts of witness testimony before grand juries to other investigative agencies after the hearing. Not to the public, but to the police. An attorney representing Kohberger's parents tried unsuccessfully to have the subpoenas quashed, the source said. The attorney, retained by Michael and Marianne Kohberger, declined to comment to CNN about the grand jury proceedings. The Latah County Prosecutor's Office declined to comment, citing the gag order. Wow, what could this be? By law, a Monroe County grand jury can only review potential crimes that occurred within Monroe County, Pennsylvania. It is unclear what crime they are investigating. Grand jury proceedings are secretive by nature, and documents related to the proceedings are sealed. Kohberger was arrested at his parents' Pennsylvania home almost 7 weeks after the murders. He drove from Pullman, Washington, where he was studying criminal justice, to Pennsylvania for the holidays until his arrest in the early hours of December 30th. After his arrest, law enforcement searched the home and Kohberger's white Elantra, which authorities had been looking for in connection with the killing. Oh my God, you guys. What crime could they be testifying? It has to be something that happened in Pennsylvania. It looks like maybe he committed another crime. Oh my God. Oh my God, rumors spread around. That is one of my favorite songs of all time. Mary got pregnant from a kid named Tom who said he was in love. Said, don't worry about a thing, baby girl. You're the man. I'm the man you've been dreaming of. 3 months later, he said he won't date her or return her call. Now I got to listen to that after this. That's like one of the best songs of all time. I wonder what he did. Steve did say they didn't have to go upstairs, so maybe Xana was the target. Yeah, a new documentary Sunday. Bryan's voice sounds like a nerdy know-it-all when he spoke. Can't imagine how annoying he was as a student teacher. Yeah, well, he was being fired for that, apparently. Combat vet, we saw that too. Yeah. Oh, me too, Amber. I appreciate you so much and agree. The community too. Makes my day go by faster. Let's see. Yes, he is a creepy dude. Yes, Erica, I think she does. Okay. Let me see. Yes, what a good song. Okay. Oh my God, my mind is blown, y'all. What crime could have taken place in Pennsylvania that they're testifying on? When questions are asked about Papagate, and then we have the Papa Roger. I'm glad to answer. The question flying around now is a good one. Was Papa Roger posting while driving? No, not that I can find, at least not during the interdiction car stops in Indiana. I'm sorry. Okay. I just don't believe this. I don't believe that was him. Maybe it was, and I'm wrong. The date of killing was chosen on purpose. Thoughts? Day 32 and no motive, same as day 1. Yeah, I don't buy it, you guys. What do you think about this Papa Roger stuff? Motion to make available the record of all proceedings of the grand jury. But see, it's not making available to the public. I believe that is just, this is the defense asking for all the information from the grand jury to keep private. This is not to go out publicly. Let's go to the latest tweets on Bryan. Wonder what crime in freaking Pennsylvania. Thank you, Jamie. That was an awesome find. But what could it be? Now my mind is just completely boggled. First on CNN. Yep, I'm going to retweet that. We already read it. Now, I love how Twitter does that. Look, if you go to retweet something, want to read the article first? Well, yeah. I think a lot of people probably share stuff they don't actually read. Order by a judge on a different case, specifically in Kootenai County. Since the order is essentially word for word what AT is requesting from the judge, I'll be willing to bet what she's asking for that isn't that unusual. Is this how they know about the Kootenai County grand jury? Huh. Okay. Very interesting. Someone said, I think there's, oh my God, I'm putting this out there now before the trial begins. We haven't seen majority of evidence and haven't seen what defense has. But from what we know, I think there's enough reasonable doubt to deem him not guilty. What? How? Is it the stalking, the DNA? I mean, what? Or is it the cartel rumors? Don't tell me the officer planted the sheath. This is why I get annoyed with the little, like the channels that sensationalize and blast these rumors when literally we don't have anything. We have an arrest affidavit, okay, which is like a very small percentage of what they have, and that's it. Oh, that's just frustrating. Hey, Danielle. About him getting fired. Yes. You should, his termination letter. If you look that up, you could probably just find the letter. The worm is turning. Parents have been subpoenaed before an investigative grand jury in PA. There's a lot of people talking about that. Ooh, Aphrodite did a reading on it, and I love his channel. He actually gets stuff right a lot. Bryan Kohberger, when his sister asked why he's wearing latex gloves constantly. All right, let me show you guys what his life looks like in jail, what he has access to and stuff, and then I'm going to let you go. Bryan Kohberger. I cannot believe that about Pennsylvania. BK has a huge following and YouTube channels that think he's innocent. No. Rumors spreading around. Yeah, that would be really fun. Who was the other guy? Oh, Elliot Rogers, Nora's grandma. He was an incel, and I can't remember his crime, but he did have like a manifesto. Yes, you better go back and look Smoky Blue Days. It's really interesting. Okay. Let's see here. Kohberger's life in jail. I know that. Here we go. Newsweek. What Kohberger's life in jail looks like. And we also have that from News Nation a week later. So let's check this out. Kohberger secluded life inside jail. Bryan, who is accused of murdering 4 university students, is quiet and, quote, does as he's told in prison, according to a media report. He's being held without bail in the Latah County Jail. Speaking to dailymail.com, one inmate at the jail said Kohberger follows his case obsessively on a television set inside his cell. The inmate said, quote, he watches himself all the time. It's really kind of bizarre, unquote. According to Ashley Banfield, Kohberger is able to choose which channel he wants to watch, in contrast to other prisoners who can only view what is selected by their jailers on a shared TV. A source inside the jail said Kohberger receives Mass every Sunday at 7 p.m. He sits down with the pastor and receives his own private Mass. It's just the two of them, and I have no idea what they might talk about. One prisoner who saw Kohberger being moved around said he always has the same expression or non-expression. He just looks straight ahead. I've never seen his eyebrows or mouth move, and he never says anything. Banfield said she was told Kohberger had been very polite and hasn't made any trouble for anyone since arriving at the jail. She added, a source who has intimate knowledge of Bryan Kohberger in jail has told us that upon setting eyes on Kohberger for the first time in person, it was a whole other image. On television, the description was that he looked like a toothpick, a skinny toothpick on TV. But the toothpick image on TV, according to this source, person looks like he's well over 200 pounds and he is quite imposing. So that's kind of interesting. Let me go back. And here's News Nation's comment on that, or, article on that. What are you guys getting into tonight? I'm going to say it. I'm going to keep saying it. If there is no DNA in that car, Bryan will walk. Facts. I bet you there's DNA in the car. I really do. People are saying that his manifesto is what law enforcement confiscated with a certain page marked. I think it was 128 or 118. I searched it up, and if it's true, it's super. I remember seeing that. Someone had posted that page number in the Facebook group. There has to be, in my opinion. What you talking about, Wolfie? VPR. I don't understand. Okay, we don't know either, Danielle. All we know is it's just been reported that his parents are both testifying in front of a grand jury. The mom already has. Dad will be tomorrow for some kind of crime that took place in Pennsylvania. Amber, I bet his DNA is at the crime scene. See, I don't know. I think for me, knowing the DNA, the sheath, and them tracking his movements, and I don't know how people think he could be innocent. Maybe I don't know, but Vanderpump Rules. No, I'm okay with that. I don't even have time to watch the stuff I want to watch. Bryan has been under maximum security for nearly 3 months. Here, I'll just play her video instead of reading it to us. It's only 2 minutes.
We've just been learning so much about this life of his.
Which Wolfie has a real problem with us saying that. I'm sorry, Wolfie.
In this little tiny 2,000 square foot jail. And yet again tonight, a dump of information about things that he is doing inside that jail, how he is changing, how he is behaving. For starters, he is apparently losing weight. We're told by our sources in the jail that he is, over the last, I guess it's now been almost 3 months, right? He went in early January, February, March, has been taking off a significant amount of weight. Maybe that vegan diet not going so well. Maybe he doesn't like the food. Maybe he's trying to lose weight. Whatever it is, he's losing weight. He's also found God or Jesus or I don't know, someone, because he yet again went to Mass yesterday, being Sunday. He's allowed to go. It's also a time when he gets human contact, kind of, not really, but kind of, because in the multipurpose room, also known as the live.
Blandfield. Oh my God. That's even better than Bagefield. Blandfield. Sorry. And you wear beige well. I mean, she's pretty, but and there was another comment, Riddler. I remember, okay, I actually didn't see the poll at the end. I forgot because of course, StreamYard is stupid. We don't see it on our end. So like when I ended the live, I didn't catch the end result. So that is quite interesting. And thank you for that. So I did a poll yesterday or the day before, if anyone thought he was innocent or guilty, and 10% said not guilty. I just don't know why. Why? Like, somebody please that can make sense of that maybe thinks he might not be. Explain to me how you get there.
Library, also known, well, a bit as the gym, but that's changed. He gets to sit with other inmates for the first time, gets to be in the same room as other people, but he's not allowed to make contact with them. So he chose to go to church again on Sunday, yesterday. The witness, the source tells us that he walks around a lot smiling, and as though he has not a care in the world. That was the description, quote, not a care in the world, and appears to be getting a lot of sleep, because what else are you going to do, right? You're in max lockup. You have your meals in your cell. You're only allowed outside for an hour a day. So he's getting a lot of sleep. The TV that he has, we are told now, is actually positioned just outside the bars of his cell. It's his own TV, and he gets a remote, but it's actually outside the bars of the cell. So he's having to watch his TV through the bars. But we are told that the tablet that he has,
now this is
has
quite
an
interesting.
app on it.
Hold on. This is what I was telling you guys about the movies that he's in. So he has a TV, but he also has a tablet. You murder 4 kids and you get to go on and watch movies and hang out by yourself and watch the tablet. You don't have any kids at home missing you. I mean, I'm sorry, but it just doesn't feel fair. It doesn't. I get it. Like, you can't treat people like animals, and he is innocent until proven guilty, you know, but
And for 5 cents per minute, he can watch older movies. So you do the math on that, figure out where that money might be coming from, or if he has it, or if he's spending it. But he does have access to older movies on a tablet at 5 cents per minute via that app. We're also told that the pull-up bar and the push-up bar that was located in the library as part of the gym facilities, they've been taken out. We don't know why, but the pull-up and push-up bars have been removed from the bar that was located in the library as part of the gym facilities. They've been taken out.
Okay.
We don't know why, but the pull-up and push-up bars have been removed from the library.
I'm such a child sometimes, but okay. Now, think about this. I guarantee you he is getting money in there. There is no doubt about it. There are many people. He's got groupies. No different than Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez, you know, Chris Watts.
What is the internet's favorite razor?
Is it hot? Is it cold? What's the
Whoa. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Oh, thank you, Shaggy. Thank you so much. Let me see. We don't have enough DNA, first of all. Timeline, way too inconsistent. And we don't know who was driving that Elantra that night. But see, this is the thing, like, that I think about with some of that. An affidavit, usually, I mean, there was more in his than we see in a lot of them. That's usually just like 2% of what they have. They don't ever want to give away what they have. So they just put enough in it, you know, to prove that he should, there's reason enough to arrest him and try him for the crime. So the affidavit is just like very small. So I don't know, because of the affidavit, people think law enforcement don't have any evidence. That's why. They also think the gag order is because they have nothing. I think they have a lot. I'm with you, because when I saw that affidavit, I was completely shocked. You know, remember, at the time, it was being said that they weren't doing their job. People were calling out the police department. They don't know what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. And then they did have a lot more information than we thought. Like, so I don't know. I hope that you guys that, you know, we'll see. Wolfie, we don't know who was driving the Elantra either. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you so much. What though? What do you mean we don't know? But who else would be driving it? I mean, why do you think somebody else was driving it and not him is what I mean. Thank you again, Eddie. That was very nice. I appreciate that. It's so bizarre these people get groupies. I know. It is. I think they're underestimated as well. But, I mean, we'll see. Do they have a GoFundMe page? I haven't seen that. I was going to show you guys before we go some of these. Look at this. These are people that think he's innocent. Or maybe they just think he's handsome. Or something like that. Justice for Bryan Kohberger, the innocence discussion. Justice for Bryan Kohberger. Private group with 5,000 members. Bryan Kohberger was the only suspect from the start. Why? This group is about bringing awareness to Bryan Kohberger's case and explaining why some people have no chance at a fair trial thanks to people like Nancy Disgrace. Hey, you know what? I've got to agree. When I saw that video of Nancy Grace and Chris McDonough saying that Bryan was out there in March and was the one who got in that girl's suitcase and put the panties. I don't believe that. There is no evidence to show that to be true. More evidence points that he wasn't out there yet in March, including his mom's post in July of 2022. And he didn't move into the apartment until August. And when he did move in, his dad went around asking people if they'd be his friend. Here is the Bryan Kohberger is innocent page. Has anyone ever cleaned the inside of their car with bleach? Why didn't his family show up at the arraignment? Bryan's silence implies a plea deal in the making, life without parole for taking the death penalty off the table. No, I don't believe that at all. I know that that's possible, but I just totally disagree with that. Bryan was online writing about the missing sheath before the public had any knowledge the sheath was at the murder scene. Because Papa Roger said that. See, let's go back for a second. Here is Bryan Kohberger's innocent. Remember that girl that had like the Bryan Kohberger is my daddy group? I mean, that's not the name of it. It was something like that. But okay, I'm going to look at this one before we go. Justice for Bryan Kohberger, the innocence discussion. They're trying to stop people from getting close, and they're deleting groups for no reason that get too close. They will do whatever it takes to cover this up. What do you guys think about this? 160-minute movie would be like $8. Watt's affidavit has more blackout redactions than words. So when I saw BK, I was like, wow. I know, Amber. Me too. They had a lot more than I was expecting. If they go after the do it, will say a lot about how much evidence they have. So far, the case seems too weak for that. We don't know. They don't know. I was responding to whatever comment. Oh, okay, Wolfie, I get what you're saying. You were saying, why do you think there was someone else driving? Yeah, because I don't see any. Oh no, Candace, I didn't say he was handsome. I think, like, what did I say? I don't know. Somebody, we were talking about the groupies. Yes, let's just hope there's more. I agree, Tiff. I agree. Hey, I love when you guys don't feel exactly how I feel. Sometimes you make me come around to seeing things your way, and sometimes it just makes my opinions a little more strong. You know, Dateline went too far, no facts. Well, I agree. What the hell? I mean, I'm sorry, but yeah, cover what up? We have to demand more from like the people that we watch. When you have a large audience like cable television, and I don't know. I think that you got to be more careful, but that's just me. I would be. My integrity means everything to me, like journalistic integrity. When I show you guys something, you know, I would never lie to you guys, ever about anything. And I might be wrong sometimes, but I damn sure will never have the ego to where I can't correct it. because I've seen large creators. I've emailed about this one case, a very large creator that is so loved. I emailed her and I was like, you've got this wrong. Here's the proof. Let me show you, blah, 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 with all the proof, black and white. Please correct it. This is important. This is, you're accusing someone of murder. That's very serious. Nope, no corrections. Even though it was in black and white, obvious that they were wrong. Hello there. It's great to be part of this group. Dear Mr. Administrator, there seem to be members of the group that are at cross pure purposes with the reason that the group was created. It seems to me it was created to discuss the evidence in the case as it develops from a perspective other than automatic guilt. They have nothing of substance to offer. Boomer alert. People are crazy. Autopsies completed. Let's see. The nature and type of the 4 victim stab wounds will undoubtedly be critical evidence in Kohberger's trial. Before the gag order, we learned the following from the Latah County coroner, Kathy Mabbitt, who, she's not exactly credible, but between 5 and 5:30, the coroner arrived at the house more than 12 hours after the incident. She gave 3 media interviews on what she saw there. In one, she reported multiple stab wounds on each victim to the chest and upper body area. She said there was one likely fatal blow for each victim at that location. She did not say the neck was stabbed where the jugular is. Also, she said that all the wounds were stab wounds, not slicing wounds. If this were a crime of passion, there would typically be multiple stab wounds, as she found. Note that her coroner's job is to report the manner and cause of death. She is not a medical forensics analyst, and she did not do the autopsies. She did indicate in one interview that she had talked to the medical examiner about the autopsies. Now, this is the thing. She's just elected into this position. She has no education when it comes to like being a medical examiner. I think they just call, the deaths. Note that Mabbitt is also acting as a defense attorney in another case in the same county and may have a potential conflict of interest and may not be able to testify for the prosecution. Interview 1. College students were likely sleeping, later retracted. See interview 2 with Ashley Banfield. Interview 2, report of interview of Latah County coroner by CBS News, originally dated November 18th, updated, indicating that earlier media reports stating all 4 victims had been murdered in their beds were not accurate. I mean, come on, lady. Whatever. All right, you guys. I think we've seen enough of this craziness. Let me see. She's just an RN that got elected as a coroner. It's crazy. That is crazy to me. Does old Lori and Chad have fans that support them? You know what, Shaggy? I've actually never seen it with them. I could do a little search. Chad Daybell is innocent. Groups. I've never seen anybody that has been standing up for them. I mean, since the kids have been found, before that we did. But his kids think he's innocent, That's really interesting. And I don't know. Let's see. She said she didn't have to rush. Oh my God, yeah. A coroner is an elected official. Normally they are not doctors and have no reason to be speaking about injuries. Oh, thank you, Riddler. That's so sweet. All right, you guys. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just, I know that they have to wait till the scene is cleared, but she didn't show up for a long time. Something don't feel right about that. Funny, the one you just scrolled by is the one I'm so disappointed in for pushing the narrative that BK isn't the guy. Like they just picked BK out of thin air and let an unaliver out there. Nora, I know. I get really upset. Like there's large creators that have big platforms that are getting thousands of people in the chat, you know, putting out complete lies and misinformation, just complete lies. And a lot of people that look up to those creators and stuff, they believe it. It's not good. And I mean, wasn't there a group for Lori? I don't know. Lynn, was there? Oh, thank you, Punksy. All right, you guys. Hey, Music City Mom. Good to see you. I feel sorry for his kids, too. She's had that position 16 years. Well, she's been reelected. Yeah, and she does do, like I said, she's the court-appointed attorney in another case right now. All right, Aussie Gardner, good night and have a good night. Oh, Amber, I'll tell you later. All right. I love you guys. I'll tell you as soon as I hang up, actually. I love you guys. I appreciate you. You know, I'm just saying, make sure to, when you're listening to a creator and taking everything as fact, you want to, you know, double check things for yourself. Look at their source. Hopefully they cite their sources. Look at that information and, you know, look at their background. I'm just shocked and nosy. I love you, but yeah, I'll tell you. Okay. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you soon. I don't know what the next thing we're going to talk about is, but you know, there's always something. So yeah, you guys have a good day or night, like Lynn said, wherever you are, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.